Testing, and action. So the Most Dangerous Custom Skate, yes, that's a pun and play on the words murder, death, kill, MDK. I won't say that this is the most dangerous custom skate, like it's dangerous to have, but creating this was definitely dangerous, and I had a lot of hiccups throughout the process. Not featured in this video is the point where I undid a lot of the metal casing around the carbon straps, the 45-degree straps. You don't see that there, but what you will notice on any of these, like on this footage here, is that the carbon strap area, you'll see like a small circle, like, you know, silver looking steel section that is basically sharp to the touch. And, you know, I'm sure you can cut someone if you swung the skate at them in the right form or fashion. Essentially what I'm doing here is I am tracing out the rear of the cuff to create my own unique V cuff. I did not have a carbon cuff. I think the carbon cuff had gotten ruined over the years. And again, if I'm not mistaken, these skates are well over 10 years old, but for some reason they are the most comfortable, the most compact yet lightweight in a size 10.5. Obviously I kept them for that reason. And if you even look further into the liners, you'll notice that the liners don't even wear down. What I'm doing now, after I traced out the cuff, is I'm doing what I consider to be the most dangerous part of this process that a partner of mine named Gerard taught me. It's to heat up a knife. He used a giant kitchen knife. I went with a very cheap, handheld, knife that was really not the wisest idea, because what happened after a while is that the metal got so hot that the plastic handle on the knife and the plastic housings where the metal rivets and metal screws were attached, those all became loose, and the blade started to move while I was cutting. So I at any point in time, if I was not fully aware and fully cognizant, I could have easily cut my hand, or some other vital organ or artery. So I do not recommend anyone try this at home. There's so much easier options to cutting into plastic. I would also recommend checking out tools like the Dremel, or getting very high-end construction scissors that are designed to cut through plastic and steel and even some types of wood. What I'm using now are my EMT shears. I think most medical professionals, nurses, doctors, physicians are familiar with these. They are designed to cut clothing, right? And the reason for that is, in an emergency, we show up on the scene, you've got, layers of clothes on, but we think, let's say you got hit by a car, we don't have time to try to figure out how to get your zipper off. We don't have time to try to figure out, let's say you have your skates on and you got hit by a car or something worse. We're gonna, as an EMT, first responder, firefighter, PD, you name it, we're trained to cut right through any aspect of your clothing or costume or exterior. So if you're wearing skates or sneakers that are tied on tight, we're cutting through those laces, we're cutting through your shoe, because your life is more important than the skate, it's more important than the shoe, it's more important than the fashion. Some of this video is not fully in chronological order, and that's because I did not realize I needed to cut the bottom half of the cuff as well. So what ends up happening is that I end up going back to the chair and table and then tracing out the bottom half, which you saw in the beginning. So, and then also that knife damaged, so I had to go to the store, get a new knife. I went with a very inexpensive $10 kitchen knife. What I realized though is that the larger knife was very difficult to maneuver for such a small cut and curve. I would also recommend, if someone were to try this, again, I don't recommend you do, but if you absolutely had to, I would say, number one, try it outside. If you see the smoke coming off of the blade as it touches the plastic, that smoke or that, that combustion at one point was so strong and so intense that it triggered the fire, the fire head, the smoke alarm in the kitchen, and then triggered the alarm in the bedroom, which is even further away, that alarm has never gone off. And that alarm is also covered with a hat. So I'm just saying, if you had to do this, do it outside. If you could, do it in an open, ventilated area. During this process, I even opened the door to the apartment to make sure it was properly ventilated. I then turned on the fan and pointed it in the direction of the work that I was performing. There are those ENT shears again. And I'm using the shears to kind of get rid of the melted plastic ends that have accumulated, that are essentially in the way and that make it look ugly. You know, some of them are brown and black as it burns. But yeah, I definitely don't recommend this. You know, I was very cautious and careful in this process. I wanted to see how quickly and easily I could do this. I think with the perfect knife, the perfect tool, maybe even the perfect, let's say, Bunsen burner or torch, right? Instead of using your stove to try to heat it, maybe if you had a more controlled, let's say like chemistry lab, I could probably do this a lot faster, a lot seamlessly, a lot easier. But throughout this entire process, I noticed numerous times I could have easily cut my hand, and then towards the end of the process, which I think you'll see coming up somewhere here, I started to hold the cuff instead of holding it where the knife could poke through and cut my hand on the other end like I'm doing now. I started to hold it in a way where I would bend the cuff either inside out and grab it in a direction where if I even slipped so much as a millimeter on the knife, it would stay within the cuff, within the confinements of the cuff, as opposed to cutting my hand. Here you see I'm also, I'm trying to be sustainable. Number one thing I was taught when I began studying architecture back when I was, 17, 18, was sustainability. The architects that I worked with at the time and still am in touch with today stressed that as well. They said, look, sustainability is everything. So when people tell me about sustainability in products and 1% for the planet, I'm someone who has worked in the field and understand that a lot of it is bull crap. This is a good shot of me doing the shears. And during this process, all of the bending and twisting, the Create Originals OG pendant actually came off the back, and that had been Gorilla glued on. And the second time around, I actually just crazy glued it, so we'll see how well that stays. Yeah, somewhere around here, with all of this smoke that you're seeing on this new knife, I think somewhere around here is where I may have triggered the smoke at the smoke detector.
The triage.
Again, I do not recommend anyone try this at home, nor in any enclosed facility unless you are a trained professional or have some expertise in these methods. I call this the fire, patience, and steel method. So today is the 1st of the month, and I'm about to go roll on these dead wheels. I finally got these skates set up. You can see these are, I think they're them skates cuffs. I really don't know. They are them. For sure. I think they are the original them cuffs. I got the little Create OG on there. I got the dead wheels, the GC frames. These skates are super old, but out of all of the skates you see over there, right, I have 8-9 SL shell with 10.5 intuition liners. I have a 10.5 Jeff Howard's. I have a 10.5 RB boot, but since I've injured my foot in January with serious swelling, edema, which is, blood in the tissues, and really the midfoot, and also nerve damage. So the biggest issue is the nerve damage and pinching in the midfoot area. And the midfoot is this area here. The midfoot's between, so you take your H block, draw a diagonal line this way, take this line here, take that line there. This is essentially your midfoot. So essentially the entire midfoot area is what I injured. I did not injure, let's say, the toes, the heel, not so much, but the midfoot is injured, not just on the top of the foot, but on the sides, the bottom. So, you know, I've been really aggressively treating my foot and trying to get it to, you know, just be better. But ultimately, I've been icing it, resting it, and I'm lying about the resting part because I've still been doing a lot of strenuous activity on it. Skateboarding. I think I did a little skateboarding a couple weeks ago where I might have made it worse. But I'm just sharing that with you guys so you get an idea that these are some really old skates. But months later, it seems to be the one thing that's like, you know, that's like something that's actually gonna work for me. So just sharing. Anyways, I'm gonna step outside, maybe cruise the block for a quick hot second, just to get a feel for it. So we'll see. I get the helmet chopper out, huh? See what happens. But let's just get a quick look. I really want to just get a quick test of how these function. What I love right now is that I don't need to strap them. And I kind of like that there's a bit of an extra flex. I've always liked skating without the bumpers. I feel like these give me that vibe. Oh no, that's loose. It's loose.
Going down.
Anyways, we're gonna see how this do. A little bit of green, a little bit of lime. You know, with lime and thing, you know, that's how they do in Trinidad. In Trinidad, you say the word lime. You know, we say what's the code, as in what's going on, what happening and thing. Everything Irie is what they say in Jamaica. You know, we say that in Trinity too, but the big thing is, are you liming? Liming, man. Liming means you're just chilling, you're just sitting down, you're relaxing, you're drinking, you're politicking with your partners and then, but I'm gonna do a little spin around and see how these things do. So it's making a lot of noise for some reason. Not really sure why they're making so much noise. Shout out Fidney. Yo, I seen a lot of boots on cars out here, man. A lot of people ain't paid their fines on it. A little dip right here. I didn't see it.
Bro, I used to do that skating shit, bro, back in the day.
That's a shame, man. That's a shame.
I want to get back on it, but I'm like, I'm already like...
There's no such thing, man. I'm going to be 40 in a few years. I've been doing it since I was 18.
Bro,
I've been skating since I was probably 5, honestly.
Shit, bro.
I've broken all sorts of stuff, man. I
I got medical
I've been
bills,
all
doctors.
over, you know, like by Yankee
You got
Stadium
kids? Is
down
that what
there.
happened? You had kids and you said no more?
Nah, man,
Yeah, go ahead.
I just fell off. I just fell off.
You fall off, you can get
You know,
back
I
on
ended up
it.
getting a job and shit. I didn't have enough time here and there. But that was my passion.
You could get back
then,
on it.
bro.
There ain't nothing stopping you.
I ain't gonna lie.
You should have me on the gram if
I
anything.
know the Unities, the
Okay.
Fishtail,
Okay.
you know,
Fish
all
brains,
that
fish
shit.
bone.
Royale.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
And you started when?
I started out when I was like probably like 16, 15.
Wow. Yeah, you
But
would do it.
I stopped once I hit like
You
20.
you had any serious injuries?
No.
No?
I broke my wrist one time.
But that never like made you want to stop?
No.
Nah?
I was out there in the cast.
You was good.
Nothing, yeah.
So then you need to get the fuck back out here with us, man. Hit me on the gram, man. Rollerblade
The
architect.
triage.
I do architecture as well, sir. Thank you. Safe, man. Yeah, be safe. Thank you. Fucking streets. The streets is looking like that.
You know, quick side note. Actually, when I turned fakie, I felt a little bit more of the pain. So again, that midfoot area is not just damaged on the sides and the top; it's also the underneath and the interior. So it's like the entire midfoot basically got crushed. I got to do a video on the entire foot.
They got a whole lot of room.
So yeah, this is a church. This would be dope, I think, to put something down there, or to actually take some bed frames, take old bed frames that people are throwing out, and turn them into like practice rails.
Anyways, this is a church that I spoke to the pastor this morning regarding some event planning. Figured I'd skate down here and check them out. Right now, though, I can tell you there's a little bit of a pain. I have a little bit of pain right in this area, and it's mostly in this area, but overall, I can't really complain. I think the happiest part right now is that the skates look semi-decent. I don't know if you can tell that I did the custom cuff.
That might be true. That might be true. The happiest part is
Those cuffs were all custom by
I think
moi.
that statement's fair. The happiest part is that they look decent, right? Because they've always been comfortable skates. I don't recall having to break these in. Like when I first got these, I forget what year, maybe, I don't know, 20, I don't know, shit. I don't know what year these came out, man. 2010, 11, 12, maybe 2000. All right, so 2015, I hosted the first NY New York Skate Series competition, 2015. So it might have been between 15 and 16, honestly. So let me see. Well, it's coming up on 10 years. I'm not too sure, but the most comfortable skates. What I love about them is that the more you tighten them, the better they fit like a glove. I'm kind of glad I don't have the straps, because when I had the straps, same with like my blank RBs, I basically was, I don't want to say undisciplined, but I love throwing your foot in a skate and going. So with the strap on these, I would just tie the strap and go, similar to the RBs, but I realized it actually ruined the strap further down the road. Like it damaged the strap more, and it, you know, like wore it out. The carbons that I have now, the strap actually was really good, but I find that you get a better feel when you actually tighten the lacing. Same with the RBs, actually. I find with most skates, if you tighten them properly, like all the way up, not trying to, like, you know how you might buy baggy pants and saggy pants? These are your feet, and you're doing acrobatics, maneuvers and stunts on them. You don't want them to be like baggy clothing. I mean, it's preference really, but if you're going to be doing the more dynamic movements, then, you know.
The triage.
Yeah, I figured I just, yeah, when I'm home, I'm in chill mode, but chill mode and work mode. I mean, I guess if it's not really work if you're having fun, right? So I decided I'm gonna put the large GC frames on. So I'm swapping them out now. I think I get up and take a break now because I didn't like how that LT tool was working. And this was a tool I picked up at the marathon from Junk Wheels, from the Prospect Park Marathon that's happening again in September. I figured it's, you know, with all the stuff I have, like my big dream and goal has always been to try to understand the products within the sport to help improve the sport, to help improve the culture, to help improve awareness for the sport, you know, whether you want to call it aggressive inline, some sort of artistic skating, maybe you want to call it rollerblading, you know, I'm not even sure what that is about. But yeah, I figured this is my ultimate setup here. Ultimate setup, at least for now, right? I'm eyeing shadows at the moment. And I mean, honestly, I don't know. I picked up a pair of 2021 or 2022 all black USD carbons. Man, I tell you, they were a thing of beauty. The materials on these skates are, in my opinion, far superior than any skate out there. So I can only imagine the icons. I can only imagine the icons are that much more higher in quality. You know, it's like, it's marketing 101. It's, you know, at Home Depot we were taught that. You know, it's like you have your low tier products, your middle products, and your higher end products. You know, in some cases you had special order products. So I feel like New Wave Skate Shop, being that boutique it is, this would be a special order product. You know, someone comes to us, they say, hey, we want these. You know, Aggressive Mall and other shops did these things, I think, on the cheap and on the low, and it's like, no, this is a craft, this is art. It's, you know, like I said, aggressive skating, rollerblading, artistic skating. Maybe it's, what do you have? You have aggressive, artistic. And I have another letter, did I write? Aggressive, artistic. Oh, shit. Anyways. So yeah, I'm basically noticing subtle differences in these two L keys. And it's one of these things where if any one company, you know, people keep asking what's the best wheel, what's the best this, what's the best brand, best frame, what's the most comfortable. In life in general, everything is some sort of balance, right? The yin and the yang. You have a vice. To you, it's a vice. To someone else, it's nice. And right now I'm learning the differences in these different Allen keys, and I thought the red one was going to be better, but I had trouble spitting it with one hand, whereas with the other one I can just twirl the bass. So I don't know if that's the materials. Maybe it has a rubber coating on it. Maybe it's, you know, who knows. So, but yeah, if one company had the best product, they'd have a monopoly. I also really do believe that accessories are necessary to improving the overall skate perception in society. I don't mean through media. I mean, you know, like the same way how things spread word of mouth. Like if you're, you know, someone who's not upper echelon, like doesn't have their ear to the street, you're not gonna know like, oh, that's the laundromat you go to where they got the thing in the back and you save some money. Oh yeah, that's the pizza shop, they got the arcade in it. Oh yeah, if you go here, they give out free bags. Or this place does this on Wednesdays. Oh yeah, that church has the, you know these things. Right? But in skating, it's like, where's the information? I once picked up a magazine that was like, it was a skateboard catalog that showcased all of the products. It was a buyer's guide, essentially. And I'd love to kind of like, not to be the gatekeeper.
Right now I'm rocking with the new setup. I went 2.5 centimeters longer with the large GC 4 Featherlight frames instead of the small GC frames. So this is just a little sneak peek what you got here.
I feel like I should be wearing the mediums.
Ground control wheels. Honestly, I think I found my happy medium. I have some pressure points. Obviously the midfoot is still injured and there's some areas of the foot that hurt. But overall, compared to a proper hard boot, my Razor SLs, my Razor shifts, the rollerblade blanks, which I just got rid of, they all hurt depending on how I move and how like I apply pressure. This right here does not hurt my foot at all. And I think it looks good if you don't mind what I'm doing, Mike.
All right, yeah. If you don't mind what I think I realized that I was going up on the curve and my foot was gonna hurt if I didn't like coordinate it well. Because I think I had previously slipped. Oh yeah, I had already slipped. Yeah, you saw the video of me like slipping. But so yeah, that's it, man. We'll have to touch on those other topics in more detail on something I got coming up. I think I'm gonna title it the captain's log. But if you guys are still listening into this darkness right here, then just know that I fucks with you. Swag.